and welcome. Thank you for joining us on this edition of News 2. I'm Sandra Gumansing. Topping our newscast, it was the Department of Health's turn before the Senate Finance Committee on Tuesday to defend their fiscal year 2017 budget. Unlike most Virgin Islands agencies, a lot of the funding for the health department comes from federal sources. Health officials took the opportunity to tell senators what their urgent challenges are. News 2's April Knight has more.
The Virgin Islands Department of Health needs $52.8 million to operate for fiscal year 2017. That's according to the Health Department team led by Commissioner Michelle Davis on Tuesday at the Senate. But a huge chunk of that money, some 37%, is coming from the federal government. The department actually only needs some $23.3 million, or less than half, from the Virgin Islands General Fund. Morale among employees is a bit higher, according to Davis, but they don't expect it to go much higher. There are still some unresolved issues that health employees are waiting for.
Staff have been asking about their retro money as well as increased training.
On Tuesday, health officials presented areas where they need urgent help. One of them is emergency vehicles, and another, one that's sucking millions out of the department's budget, is the lack of behavioral health facilities in the territory. On ambulances, officials said they're down to 1 to 2 functioning vehicles on each island. They need a minimum of 3 new vehicles on St. Thomas, 1 on St. John, and 4 on St. Croix.
We're working on it internally, but the money still is not available to us as yet, so we can't place the order.
They're currently spending some $3.8 million for behavioral health patients placed off-island, underscoring the need for the territory to have its own facilities.
We need to complete the renovations of Elder Shutterbrandt on St. Thomas, because that would add 30 additional beds. We also need to have a facility on St. Croix.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Meanwhile, also at the Senate, the Committee on Health, Hospitals, they wrapped up the series of hearings on Senator Positive Nelson's medical marijuana bill. According to committee chairman, Senator Kurt Violet, there has been way too much discussion for a vote to be called late Monday, when the meeting ended at around midnight. The bill would allow and regulate medical marijuana in the territory and set up provisioning centers. Ultimately, according to Violet, vetting this controversial bill would take time. We will keep you updated on any developments. Meanwhile, on Monday, we reported on the Virgin Island Police Department's progress on complying with the demands of the consent decree. Acting St. Thomas St. John Police Chief Jason Marsh also shared with News 2 some recent success in the fight against gun-related violence, and he said the community played a big role. News 2's April Knight has more.
The VIPD netted some illegal weapons on St. Thomas recently, and according to Acting Police Chief Jason Marsh, a lot of that success is thanks to the community.
We recovered 2 different incidents, 3 weapons, one including an AK-47. The community reaching out when they hear shots fired and the officers responding. So this will be more of a community-assisted incident. Yeah.
On Friday, June 24th, officers responded to reports of shots fired in the Nada area. They recovered a sawed-off shotgun, a Glock handgun with several extended magazines, ammunition, and drugs. Less than 16 hours later, they responded to shots fired in the Oswald Harris Court area. They saw an individual leaving the area and dropping a bag. In the bag, they found this AK-47 with 2 magazines.
And again, with the assistance of the community, so we want to make sure we thank the members of the community and encourage them to keep calling when they hear shots fired, and that way we can respond and hopefully make recoveries such as these.
Help from the community might just be what the VIPD needs in a year when St. Thomas is already exceeding last year's total number of homicides. In 2015, St. Thomas had 21 homicides in total. This year, as of June 27th, it's already at 24. The VIPD has set up a homicide task force with experienced detectives. But at the rate the territory is going, they're going to need all the help they can get. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
An overwhelming majority of the recorded homicides in St. Thomas this year are gun-related, 22 out of 24. Well, here's a little more details on the confiscated guns on Friday, June 24th. At approximately 10:02 a.m., concerned citizens reported of shots fired in the vicinity of Nada. The officers responded and they were able to recover a sawed-off shotgun, a Glock handgun with several extended magazines, ammunition, and drugs. Police say in less than 16 hours on June 25th, at about 4:33 a.m., officers responded to shots fired in the Oswald Harris Court area and observed an individual leaving the area and dropping a folding chair bag. The officers made an inspection and recovered an AK-47 with 2 magazines. The individual was unable to be located after the officers recovered the weapon. The VIPD is requesting the assistance of the general public in locating the following felon. Jashawn Peters is wanted in connection with a first-degree felony assault that occurred in the vicinity of the Bovoni housing community. He is 21-year-old, black male, brown skin complexion, black hair, brown eyes, stands at the height of 6'1" and weighs 165 pounds. Jashawn Peters is known to frequent the Bovoni area. Anyone who knows the whereabouts or has information concerning Jashawn Peters, you're asked to phone Corporal Mario Stout or any member of the Homicide Task Force at 340-714-9823-911 or the anonymous tip service Crime Stoppers USVI at 1-800-222-8477. The Virgin Islands Police Department is looking for Samuel Sammy McDonald, wanted for robbing a child. Here's details from VIPD.
On June 24, 2016, at approximately 8:01 p.m., the father of a minor child reported that his son was robbed at gunpoint in the vicinity of the Scion Farm ballpark. The male minor was interviewed and stated that on June 24, 2016, at approximately 8:01 p.m., while hanging out at the vicinity of the Scion Farm ballpark, an unknown male individual approached him, pointed a gun at his chest, and took his belongings. Samuel McDonald is a 21-year-old black male from St. Croix, frequents the State Strawberry, Sunny Acres, and Scion Farm area. He weighs about 130 pounds. His height 5'7" to 5'10". If you come in contact with this individual, please approach with caution. Please call the Criminal Investigations Bureau at 340-712-6033 or call 911 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS.
Well, recently, a vigilant walk to bring awareness to rising gun violence in the VI was held. It included members of the clergy along with the St. Thomas community. They marched through the Hidden Valley housing community Friday night and through the use of a bullhorn, demanded residents put down their guns in an effort to bring peace. Here's more.
A lot of times things happen and they say, where is the church? What the church is doing. We are the church. That's right. And we are out here taking back our streets, taking back our homes, our children, our grandchildren. We are taking back this community by force. So all those who are inside, we don't want you to stay inside, but we want you to come outside out of solidarity and being in one accord. Because this is your community. We only passing through, but you all is who live here. So come out and bond together as a corporate unit and look out for one another, look out for each other's children.
Death due to violence. Jaquan Morel, Ashe. Tashawn Van Holten, Ashe. Glenn Blyden, Ashe.
The march included many law enforcement and officials as well, and they made their way to other neighborhoods. Turn our attention overseas. A new poll finds Americans trust Hillary Clinton over Donald Trump to handle terrorism. The ABC News Washington Post poll shows that Clinton leads Trump 50% to 39% on who would best handle terrorism. And those surveyed believe she responded better than Trump to the Orlando shooting, 46% to 28% respectively. The Republicans released their findings Tuesday morning on the 2012 terror attacks on Libya that killed 4 Americans, including Ambassador Chris Stevens. While Republicans maintain this was not a partisan investigation, Democrats are calling it just that. Diane Gallagher has more from Washington.
A 2-year investigation, an 800-plus page report, and still no new bombshells from the Special House Benghazi Committee.
While our guys were on the ground, taking gunfire and mortar attacks, Washington was moving at a snail's pace.
The report does include new interviews and recommendations, but no major revelations. No smoking gun, if you will, that directly implicates former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton.
I wrote the report that I think is centered in the facts.
But it does argue that Clinton should have realized the risks. An addendum released by 2 conservative members of the panel is about Clinton and is critical of her and the Obama administration, blaming the attack on the, quote, tragic failure of leadership.
When Secretary Clinton said, "What difference does it make?" we can now, as a result of our work over the last year and a half, tell you exactly what difference it makes. It makes a difference in how you respond to an attack.
Democrats on the committee called the report a conspiracy theory on steroids. Clinton herself brushed it off today.
I'll leave it to others to characterize this report, but I think it's pretty clear it's time to move on.
Still, Republican Chairman Trey Gowdy maintains, even with the timing of the release, this has nothing to do with the election.
Speaker Boehner nor Speaker Ryan have ever asked me to do anything about 2016 presidential politics. Speaker Boehner asked me to find out what happened to 4 of our fellow citizens, and I believe that that is what I have done.
In Washington, I'm Diane Gallagher.
And keeping our eye on the economy, on Monday, the British pound sank to a 31-year low. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed Monday nearly 900 points lower than it was before the UK voted to leave the European Union. Leaders are beginning to grapple with the logistics of last week's Brexit vote. British Prime Minister David Cameron meets with officials in Brussels, and the EU Parliament's Conference of Presidents held a special session. It's worth noting a petition demanding a revote on the EU question has already amassed nearly 4 million signatures. Let's take a look at the stock market watch at the New York Stock Exchange. Everything up there, the Dow 269, NASDAQ 97, S&P 500 also up at 35. Coming up on News 2, we have some summer camps for you to consider, especially if your young ones enjoy marine life. Plus, Varlockville opens for business on Love City. Events are underway honoring Miss Delreese Varlack. We'll have a schedule coming up. Just a reminder, we are in the hurricane season. Innovative is reminding its employees and customers that in the event of a severe storm or hurricane, it is important to stay abreast of the weather conditions. Sean O'Donnell, CEO and president of Innovative Companies, shares some other reminders. Here's more.
Good day. This is Sean O'Donnell, CEO of Innovative, here to remind you about important hurricane preparedness activities. In the event of a storm, customers should refrain from cutting down or moving any down lines because they may be active utility lines. For customers on our new network, during a power outage, the backup battery for your modem will provide up to 6 hours of talk time. We encourage you to use your telephone on an as-needed basis during power outages to conserve the battery life. We know that there are customers whose batteries no longer hold a charge, and we have been contacting these customers directly to replace these batteries free of charge. These customers can bring these batteries to the business office to swap out their dead battery, or if you are not able to or unwilling to remove the battery yourself, you can call 912 to schedule an appointment for Innovative to come to your house to swap it out for you. Either way is free of charge to our customers.
Great reminder there. Interim Executive Director of the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority, Julia Reimer Sr., received approval recently to enter into agreements with vendors whose assistance would expedite the restoration of electrical service in the aftermath of any tropical weather system. Entering into contract with these companies followed an open bidding process that determined the interests of the vendors in work. The one-year retainer agreements are with BBC Electrical Services, Sumter Utilities, and Service Electric, as well as agreements with Bryans Electric and Bonneville Group. Also approved by the board was a contract extension to upgrade the water infrastructure in Frederick Said St. Croix. Commissioner of Agriculture Carlos Robles invites USVI farmers and fishermen to attend an open house with federal and local agencies providing services to the agricultural community. The St. Thomas open house started around 5:30 this evening at UVI. It ends at 8:30 p.m. On St. Croix, the open house will be held on Wednesday, June 29th, in the UVI Great Hall from 5:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Participating agencies include Small Business Administration, USDA Farm Service Agency, UVI Cooperative Extension Service, VI Delegate to Congress, and more. Agency representatives will meet with local farmers, fishermen, rural businesses, and residents to discuss available programs and resources to assist them. Festival time is in full swing. Varlockville opened for business earlier this evening. Events are presently underway honoring Miss Delreese Varlock, and you're looking at some file footage from last year, but we will have highlights in tomorrow's newscast. Now again, everybody heading to Love City for the official kickoff. The heart of Carnival, of course, is the Village. The Village is locally referred to, made up of colorful booths that sell local foods and drinks, booths representing local communities and including foods from Puerto Rico, Trinidad and Tobago, Dominican Republic, Dominica, Tortola, and Barbados. The booths are open all evening long into the wee hours of the morning. The Festival Children's Village opened earlier this evening, and Festival Ribbon Cutting opened in Cruz Bay parking lot. Again, tune in on next newscast. We'll have highlights of opening night. Now on Sunday, July 3rd at 1 p.m., horse races are on tap at the Clinton E. Phipps Racetrack. On Sunday, July 3rd, we have Emancipation Day program on tap at 1 p.m. at the Powell Park. Also on Sunday, it's the Festival Polka Run. That's at 12 p.m. in Cruz Bay. Monday, July 4th, 4 a.m. it begins really early with Juve, and then 11 a.m. it's the festival parade. And then, of course, many stick around for 9 p.m. for the fireworks display in the harbor. Also part of the Village is a bandstand, of course, where local bands perform, often on a nightly basis during the festivities. Here is your music lineup. For tonight, it's Cool Sessions Brass and Ish Band on Wednesday, Jam Band and Poison on Thursday, Extreme, Vio International, and Small Acts. Friday, we will hear from Spectrum, Fada Fox, and Shy Marshall, Curran Dubois, and Rock City. Saturday, Express, Rudy, Nadia Baston, Patrice Roberts, and Destra. Sunday, Awi Band, Triple K, Benji, and Sherwin Winchester. And then finally, Monday, July 4th, Last Lap, CMK Band, Cool Sessions, Hyper Sounds, and Crossfire. Well, now that the festival events are underway in Love City, the Virgin Islands Police Department, as always, urging residents to be safe during a time when some of us can become a little less cautious. Here are some carnival safety tips and reminders from the police department.
Your St. John Deputy Chief Arlene Chalwell. It's festival time once again in St. John, where family and friends come out to celebrate and enjoy our rich and historical culture. Unfortunately, not everyone has the intention of having a safe and happy festival. There are people who use this time of the year to target others, and when that happens, innocent bystanders get hurt. We need your continued help and support. If you see any signs of trouble, tell us immediately. If you see any kind of weapon anywhere, let us know. Minors should always be accompanied by an adult for their safety. Always travel in groups in well-lit areas, especially near to the dock. Secure your purses and wallets. And remember that at any time, drinking and driving or texting and driving is against the law. Your Virgin Islands Police Department is here to work with you to make this the best festival ever. We are your Virgin Islands Police Department and wishes everyone happy festival 2016.
Here are some interesting summer camps to consider. Young scientists can get exposed to the lab environment, working with microscopes, fertilizing sea urchin eggs, outdoors, holding sea creatures, and even getting in the water. That is Howard Forbes. This is the person you need to contact. Interested in marine science? Well, with the aid of UVI's Center for Marine and Environmental Studies, VI Marine Advisory Service, VMAS, which operates within the University of the Virgin Islands Center for Marine and Environmental Studies, they will be holding a 4-week marine science program for students in grades 7 to 12 from July 11th to August 5th. The fee includes lunches, field trips on St. Thomas and St. John. Now, registration ends Thursday. For more information on St. Thomas, contact Howard Forbes. The number is 340-693-1672. Also, Friends of the VI National Park, they will be hosting 3 marine science summer camps that are free weekly camps for locals ages 7 to 17. The first camp starts July 11th. The number to call for that one is 340-776-6721. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast comes your way next.